Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today we have loot from 3,000 Scabarites, and more specifically, I was killing the Locust Riders and the Mages. And if you guys don't know what this monster is, it is mainly a Slayer task that's given to you once you complete the quest Contact. Now, I actually haven't done the quest Contact, but I did start it before I did this video, which is the only requirement to get into this area. And this area, as you can see, is all multi, and the only three things that attack you are the Locust Riders with the spear, the Locust Riders with the bow, and the mage, who is just pretty much maging you like once every 6 seconds. So I was mainly focusing on the mage while praying range the whole time, and I wasn't getting that much damage dealt to me. As you can see in the beginning, I was trying a spot towards the west because I've never been here before since this video, so I wasn't too sure what to do exactly. But that spot to the west did work out, and I was averaging about 300 kills an hour for the first 2 hours, and then after that I switched it up and I went towards the center, and then I was averaging about 450 kills an hour. So it's much better towards the center, but there was more minions on you, so it just really depends on your combat level. I'd say if you're low combat, stay towards the west or stay towards a corner, and if you're high combat or if you're just using a cannon, which you should pretty much always be using a cannon here, especially if you're on Slayer task or anything like that, then I'd say towards the center where the most minions are in one spot would be the best place to kill them, because you want to go for most kills per hour, but at the same time you don't want to die or anything like that. So wearing full Armadillo and using Bastion potions as well as Rigor definitely helped me out a lot. I don't think I'd wear any other gear for these things. I mean, Armadillo seems to be pretty ideal, so unless you want to bring full bandos and a whip and try the melee setup, then I guess you can do that, but I just stuck with the range setup. Now, as it goes for the first 500 kills, unfortunately, I was wearing graceful gloves the whole time. I did switch to Barrows gloves after that, but yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. Suppose mistakes happen though. But yeah, as it goes for killing 3,000, I was originally going to kill 1,000, but I realized that they're pretty fast paced, you know, with a cannon and all, and plus there's 3 different minions of Scarab or whatever you call it, so I figure why not do 3,000 kills to represent the 3 minions. And since I was averaging about 300 kills an hour in the beginning and then upwards of like 400 to 450 kills an hour, it didn't really take that long. So yeah, all in all, as it goes for like tracking the kills, I just used a bone crusher. I started with 10,000 charges, and I figured once it got to 7,000 or so I would be finished. So that's usually how I always track my kills throughout the series. And the idea for this video came from a comment about 3 videos ago. I was going to do this video sooner, but in all honesty, I just didn't really know what to expect. So yeah, I should have done this sooner because it really is fast paced, especially with a cannon. And as you can see, the drops are just so varied. I mean, it goes from noted, you know, bars to noted fish to ore to desert goat horns to really unique runes. I mean, I was seeing lava runes, cosmic runes, fire runes. You really don't see cosmic and lava runes being dropped too much from a lot of monsters, so definitely unique. I was getting a few tooth keys, a few loop keys, not too many of those, a decent amount of kite shields, a lot of addy kite shields, a lot of rune square shields. I did manage to get 1 rune battle axe and 1 rune kite shield, so I guess that's like the unique rune items. I did get a few rune spears though, so that was nice to see. Always hitting the rare drop table, getting the rune javelins and the nature talismans, and of course the shield left halves, which I've been seeing a lot of lately in all these loot videos. It seems like I always seem to get like 1 or 2 shield left halves, which I don't mind. It's just pretty unique to see from one of these things. Now, as it goes for how did I get to this location, there is 2 main methods to getting here, and the main method that I was using was a Pharaoh Scepter. I was just teleporting to Pyramid Plunder, and every 3rd teleport I had to bring 6 gold artifacts to recharge my scepter with. But if you can't afford a Pharaoh Scepter, then the next best thing to do is to buy a Narda teleport, and from Narda you just run southwest and you'll eventually end up in the same location. I think a Pharaoh Scepter might save you like 45 seconds to a minute in running time, so that's why I prefer it, but if you can't afford it, then Narda works just as well. Now, as it goes for the inventory setup, I would say, you know, the amount of food and the amount of prayer potions and super combat or range potions you bring is pretty much up to you. I was seeing that 3 prayer pots and 1 range pot was doing the job for me every inventory, and also a cannon is absolutely necessary. I would not ever bother killing these things without a cannon because I feel like these things are good for range XP, or at least good for XP per hour in general, and since it's multi-combat, you really should take advantage of that. Now, as it goes for the items that you should bring other than a cannon, if you have a herb sack, definitely bring that. As you can see, there's like 6 or 7 different herbs that these things drop. If you have a gem bag, make sure to bring that as well because they do drop 4 different gems. And last but not least, if you have a rune pouch, make sure to bring that as well because they drop 5 different runes. I will say though, a big difference between what I was doing and what the average person would be doing is that I was not bringing any high alks. Now, I do recommend bringing high alks. The main reason for that is because you would be ideally high alking the rune dagger, the Addy kite shield, the rune mace, the rune square shield if you want. So there's all sorts of alkables, but I wanted to get a big loot tab, so I didn't want to bring alks for that main reason. And also a side note, if you do have a seed box, then you can bring that as well. The only reason I didn't bring it was because I didn't have it, but also it's kind of a good thing because they don't drop seeds that commonly. And I think the only seeds that are worth picking up here would be the Snapdragon seeds, which I only got a few of those, and I did manage to pick up all the other seeds as well because, you know, it is a loot tab after all. But yeah, the other ones aren't really worth that much. And speaking of the drops, not only do these minions drop raw food such as raw bass and raw lobsters, but they also drop cooked unnoted food as well. So when you're in the process of killing them, as I'm sure you've seen throughout this video, you will see that you get a lot of bass drops, a lot of lobster drops, things like that, so your trips can always be extended even if you run out of prayer potions. I was doing a lot of kills extra just because of the food drops, so it's always nice to extend trips like that. I did read a guide where it did say you could bring Guthans here, and maybe that is so, but when you're trying to kill as many as you can per hour, I don't think Guthans would be a great idea. I did consider bringing an SGS at one point, but blowpipe spec heals you either way, so I felt like it wasn't necessary. What is 100% necessary though, and also something that I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, is to wear a Ring of Wealth. As you can see, 1.3 million coins there, and that was just 2,000 kills in. That wasn't even, you know, the whole video. So very important to bring that Ring of Wealth. I mean, you do get alkables like I mentioned before, noted battle staves and even unnoted Addy and rune items, but those coins really do add up as it goes for using a Ring of Wealth. Now, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, I did get a few shield left halves, but it was very interesting to see a dragon spear drop from these things as well. I guess that goes alongside the dragon stone, the rune bar, the Addy javelins. I'm assuming that's all on the same table. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know there's quite a few different rare drop tables on certain monsters out there. Now, something that I should point out that's not in my inventory is a light source, and the reason I didn't bring a light source such as like a candle lantern or something like that was because I was wearing a max cape, which acts as a fire making cape, and the perk of that would be it pretty much is its own light source. So for once, I can actually justifiably say why I was bringing a max cape rather than an assembler, because I saw a lot of comments in my last video as to why I should have brought an assembler rather than a max cape, and the honest truth to that is I don't have another Vorkath head, so unfortunately we're gonna have to stick with the max cape, but it has multiple purposes luckily. But yeah, if you're not wearing a fire making cape, which you definitely should not be wearing a fire making cape if you're killing these things, bring a lantern or a light source so that you're actually able to see in this area. And with all that being said, at this point I just had 20 kills left, so I was just wrapping it up, and I think I covered pretty much everything about these things. I mean, you know, the question still lies, why would anyone kill these things? And I guess, you know, once you guys see the price check, you know, maybe the drops would be the reason as to why anyone would kill them, and also the fact that it is just a Slayer task. May not be a popular Slayer task, but it is a Slayer task, and from what I've seen videos out there of these things, they are frowned upon. People really don't like them at all, so I'm hoping this video maybe changes some minds, or at least opens some eyes about, you know, what these things drop, what you're looking at XP wise, and are they worth even doing as a Slayer task, let alone off task. So with all that being said, let's jump into the price check, see what we got from 3,000 kills, and you know, averaging about 450 kills an hour, 112k range XP every hour. It is time to see what all in all we got. So looking at the cash stack first, 2.1 mil, that is awesome, all accumulated with a Ring of Wealth. 2 shield left halves, I would say those were the 2 rarest items for this video. The dragon spear I would probably put in there as well. And yeah, just overall decent amount of rune items, and the first price check of everything came out to be 7.2 mil. Rounded up to about 7.3 mil. That includes the battle staves, the ore, the fish, the keys, the gems, and the rune. And moving on to the second price check to add on to the first one. I mean, these things drop so many items that I needed to do 2 full inventories worth. And this has the cash, the shield left halves, the rares, the runes, and everything else. And it comes out to be another 3.8 mil. So you take the first number, 7.3, and then of course you add in the 3.8 mil, and 3,000 kills comes out to be just about 11.1 mil. And once you subtract the amount of supplies that we use, such as like 12,000 cannonballs, scales, darts, potions, and food, we ended up profiting just about 5.5 to 6 mil in just about 6 to 7 hours. So overall, a pretty good experience, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing it. And until next time, Mr. No Sleep out.